A written report covering my activities since the winter meeting has been distributed. I will only highlight a few points before opening the floor for questions. First, I want to underline that this annual session marks a year of hard work. I would like to again thank the Portuguese Parliament for their efforts in hosting this event, which is another way of strengthening dialogue and cooperation within the OSCE. And let's be clear, there is much for us to discuss. The current international situation is one of the most turbulent times in decades. Within the very core of our region, Ukraine continues to face constant and brutal attacks from Russia. We must continue with all possible efforts to support our Ukrainian friends and bring this war to an end. I believe that we have been responsive to calls from our Ukrainian colleagues and shown our solidarity, particularly through holding a bureau meeting in Kyiv, and I hope we continue to prioritize this. I thank all those that joined me in Kyiv, but particularly I want to thank Mikita and Artur for your strength and friendship. Having visited the Israel and Ramallah twice in the past year as president, events in that region also weigh heavily on my mind. Working closely with Pascal Alizad, Per Pons, Luis Grasa and Kyriakos Hadiani in my latest trip, I believe that we have established the OSCPA as a reliable partner in the region. We should continue to be responsive to requests from partner parliaments in the region. But we must, of course, also be vocal in calling out the terrible humanitarian abuses that are taking place. I have been pleased that within the Bureau we have also had several opportunities to consider long-term strategic planning. We need to ensure that the Assembly is making best use of its comparative advantage. In this regard, I have been impressed by the breadth of discussions taking place within the context of the OSCPA, even outside of our official meetings. The recent conference in Rome, exploring crime, corruption and terrorism, is an excellent example of how parliamentarians with expertise and interest can gather to share and gain knowledge on key security issues. I would also like to applaud our many younger colleagues active in the youth network which meets on the sidelines of our Assembly. Their focus on the future of multilateralism and youth mediators are good examples of how youth experiences offer particular and important perspectives for our work. The problems of today and tomorrow are too serious to be left to more senior politicians. I hope that efforts to increase their activity, both in our Assembly and in national parliaments through, for example, quotas, will be taken seriously. You will have seen a proposal for an ad hoc committee proposed by our Special Representative on Youth Engagement. While I strongly welcome the proposal, I understand that further discussion of this may be needed before any decision. I would welcome any thoughts on this and hope it will be taken seriously by the coming leadership of the Assembly. Our Assembly is also well positioned to lead conversations on challenging innovations in the electoral sphere, which we see occurring through our observation work. We need to consider our processes in this field, as disinformation and algorithm manipulation increasingly replace ballot box stuffing. I'm very pleased that an Other Side event taking lessons from our observation work will be held here in the coming days, focused on campaigning online and challenges of disinformation in elections. As this is my last report as President to the Standing Committee, I want to thank you all for your support and cooperation during my presidency. I would also like to extend my thanks to Roberto Montella and the Secretariat that he leads in Copenhagen and Vienna. I have greatly appreciated their support and guidance throughout my presidency as I worked to represent the Assembly in Central Asia, Europe, North America and the Middle East. I'm sure that with similar backing for the next president, whoever he or she might be, the Assembly will continue to achieve great things. As mentioned earlier, additional details are available in the written version of this report, which provides a more complete overview of my activities during the past year. I welcome any comments you may have.